This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Bradley Summers. And get the latest from Alpena Community College with ACC President Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Bradley Summers, and today our first two guests are Major Preza Morrison and Margie Huxma, the Red Kettle chairperson for this past year. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
How are you both doing today?
Great. Wonderful. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful.
Good.
Doing wonderful. Getting the weather's kind of warming up, as weird as that sounds right now.
It is. It's nice, isn't it?
Becoming like a sloppy mess out there to drive through. So you're on the show today. One of the things that I think everybody would really like to know that maybe missed the live Facebook feed that was out there on the 15th of January, but give us an update on the Red Kettle campaign.
Well, the Red Kettle campaign was marvelous. It was really a lot of fun working with a number of different people and people volunteering that probably have never volunteered before. And the monies that came in were wonderful. Our goal was $165,000, and we got $184,000, which was way beyond what we thought. And it was a wonderful blessing when you think about all the community, all the nickels, all the pennies, all the dollars, all the hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars sometimes come in. Everybody gave generously, and this community is wonderful and it's marvelous. And I see us as a family, as a community family, because they care and they want all people to be taken care of, and that's a true blessing.
Mm-hmm. And what a beautiful way to say it too, as the chairperson of this event.
It's kind of honorary chair, right?
Honorary chair.
Because I don't want them to think that I got this position forever.
Hey, you never know.
Who knows?
No, but you know, your ability to advertise using the billboards and to get the word out and to put yourself out there to, you know, to gather other people in the community and rally around the effort was incredible.
Well, thank you.
And I'm not surprised it's at, what, 111% is what we kind of discussed. I think the last time both of you were on the show was about a month and a half ago, and you were at about 60% of that goal. So it's really awesome to see that everybody rallied, you know, towards the end just to make this happen, you know, for such a wonderful organization and human services field. You know, what you do in this community is exceptional.
Yes.
Exceptional.
It really is.
So with $185,000 that's raised in the Red Kettle campaign, why is that so important?
Well, it's so important, especially this year, because last year we saw a rise in all our social services programs. Some of them were like 1/3 higher, and some of them were almost 50% higher. And so we're concerned about what this next year is going to be. And when people come and need assistance, we need to have the funds there to be able to serve them.
Yeah, and some of those resources, you not only do you have the food pantry, but you also have a clothing pantry as well, correct? Or a personal hygiene one as well.
Yes, we do.
So people not only just can, you know, come in, talk to your agency and talk to you and your wonderful team, but they can also, instead of just food, but can actually get deodorant and other personal hygiene items that they would need.
And if they need to, a voucher to the thrift store too. And that's for the clothing and for household items too.
Yeah, that's and what a huge resource, you know, for this community.
Yes.
Have you noticed more? You said that there is an uptick of the social services that you're providing.
Yes.
Have you noticed, you know, more need for homelessness, or what is the biggest priority area that you're working on right now?
Housing really is. I mean, seeing so many people that we served last year, we spent over $15,000 on just the summer months, just those 4 months to house people during that time of the year. And so it's scary to know, you know, how much we could actually, if we opened up our doors all the time to help people, how much we could actually spend.
Yeah, and so are there specific partners that you're finding in the community that are helping as well to provide these resources?
Yeah, many of the churches will help us. So if we need some funds to help with a lot of the different programs that we have, including the housing, we can contact a church that we already have a relationship with, and they will help us with the funds. We work closely with NEMSCA. They help us with some of the people that we're serving too, and St. Vincent.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
And you know, and I know that all of these entities do a lot in this community, and it's
Yes.
really, it is, you know, so worthwhile to hear that, you know, everybody's partnering and collaborating.
Yes, that's important.
Because that's how the human services get more progressive and more, you know, expansion of their programs.
Yeah, and some of us get a lot of funding. Maybe some people get it from the government, we don't, but other agencies may. So we may be short on funds for a different area, and we can send them to another agency who just received some grants or some funding for that certain area. So we try to do that too, and we kind of fill in the cracks in providing services that maybe other agencies can't.
Well, and that's really important to note too, is that it's because of the religious affiliation that sometimes some of the local grants that you'd be able to apply for here or through the state or federal government may not be able to be, you couldn't apply for some of those, correct?
Yeah, some of them have guidelines that we, you know, don't feel that we could abide by.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have to say no to them, you know.
Well, and that's so awesome to hear, you know, 111% of the goal and being able to utilize, I know all $185,000 that was raised goes right back into this community. And that's why it's so important that, you know, people step up to help, you know, in any way that they can, either a financial donation or donating hygiene items or clothing items. You know, I know, you know, we hear a lot in the community right now about, you know, the need for resources for the homeless population that we have, and, you know, where are these individuals going during the colder
Yes,
months,
that's right.
and how are they, you know, getting by day, and heaven forbid, you know, that they have children that are involved.
Yes, yes.
You know, so it's just, it warms my heart to hear that you're at 111% of that goal. And Margie, I incredible.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes.
It's just fun to be a part of the team. I mean, Prisa, Major Prisa, is wonderful to work with, and she's easy to work with. And anyone that wants to volunteer their time, she would be a good person to get you to work and to do different things, because she's wonderful to work with. And all of her staff, they're just wonderful people. And I just pray that she continues to do as well as she's been and better, and just keeps growing it.
Yeah, well,
you know,
and
helping more people.
And your leadership has created a lot more avenues for people in this community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time that you spend as the honorary Red Kettle Chair this year. And just being able to, you know, just the ability to bring people together and rally around a common goal and be able to provide those resources and bring them in is just incredible. And that's what we all in the nonprofit world, you know, we're lucky to know people like you. So
Yes.
thank you.
That's right.
What a
That's
blessing.
right.
You know, part of the reason why I love the Salvation Army is because they're kind of like universal. They'll work with any church that has the same biblical beliefs as far as salvation through Christ. And that's the reason why the Booths, when they initiated the Salvation Army, why they did that, because they had to get people fed. They had to have their tummies filled in order to be able to give the gospel of Jesus Christ, that how they could be free in Jesus from their sins and have eternal life. And I love to partner with people like that, and they certainly are all of that.
Well, thank you, and they're very lucky to have you.
Yes.
Well, I'm lucky to be
Yes.
part. It was an honor to be included in the process.
Yes.
Thank you both for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing and talking with you more about the wonderful things that you're doing. And Margie, I'll definitely see you around in the community.
Soon, very soon. Thank you.
Stay tuned after the break for Cindy Johnson with the Huron Humane Society. Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest is Cindy Johnson from the Huron Humane Society. Hi, Cindy.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic, thank you.
And you brought two beautiful little guests today.
Did.
Oh, that one just sneezed.
She did just sneeze. We have Scootaloo and I have Sweetie Belle. These are some of the younger kittens that we have at the society right now. They came out of a house where we took 14 cats.
Wow.
This last Saturday, yeah. So they're about 4.5 weeks old. You can pre-adopt. Their sister was pre-adopted yesterday, and they'll be ready to go home in about 2.5 weeks.
Aw, and I'm telling you too, with how active you are on social media and your website with putting and updating the animals that are up for adoption. I don't know how someone could look at your social media page and not want to take 3 cats home. I even wrote down on my notes before the show today, like, ask about Bomer, ask about this. And, you know, you know, animals evoke such a wonderful response to human nature, and you know, having a small animal like this, or you know, of course they get bigger, but you know, showing love and they love you back, and it would be tough to be in your world to have to work with animals that are looking for these homes.
Yeah, well, it is tough, but it's also rewarding when you find them homes. I mean, because like last year, 545 animals came through our facility, and we found homes for almost all of them. Some were returned to owners, and then unfortunately sometimes, you know, you'll get animals in that are too sick to save, but we save as many as we can. So we just keep doing it.
Oh, and I saw that, that number, the 545, increased from the prior year.
Yes.
And, well, obviously, because of the increase in animals, too, so does the increase in the amount it takes to care for these animals over the year.
Exactly, because then you have to have extra staff, and of course, you know, nobody works for minimum wage anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with that. But in order to get good people, you have to pay more, and then each animal comes with its own cost. And if they have medical issues, that adds to the cost. So, but we still managed to raise what we needed to raise last year, plus $4,000 extra. But our vet bill was $66,000 last year. And we do a lot of testing on site. So we do testing and vaccinations and all of that. So that doesn't even include what we do in our own facility.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of the increase in animal care and the uptick in the amount of adoptions and animals that you're seeing, you have a fundraiser coming up on February 9th.
We do have a fundraiser coming up at PIF Cider, starting at 5 o'clock on February 9th. It's a Mardi Gras event. It's a fundraiser for HHS. There's going to be costumes and king cake and music, and we'll start getting that information out on Facebook. I think we've already set up an event on it, but we'll really start pushing that. So if you're available that night, come down and see us. We're not going to take any cats, but we will have some really cool pictures of cats in costume, and we have the costumes. So it'll be a fun event, and a much needed event for us.
And another opportunity you have to bring more resources to the animals of our area and to do the scope of work that you do is a partnership with Walmart.
Yes, we partner with Walmart on several things. First, we have the Roundup, so when you're going through the Walmart line or buying online, you can say, I'd like to round up for the Huron Humane Society. Every penny helps us. But we also partner with Walmart. They came into our facility the other day with a crew. They help socialize the animals, and we get money every time they come in, and then we're going to start going to them once a month with animals as kind of a mental health break for their employees. They set up a spot for us, and everybody comes and plays with the cats, kittens, and dogs that we bring, and it's a good partnership for everyone.
Yeah, and it's so important to socialize the animals,
Yeah.
so that they're used to people and kids.
Yeah.
You know, I know there's a lot of. You've had a lot of cats over the past year as well. Talk a little bit about the dog adoptions.
The dog adoptions, when we get dogs in, we 4-day stay on a dog is average. When you average out and we just did all of our numbers. So we take owner surrender dogs most of the time. Strays have to go to animal control currently. So our dog count is down because of that, but we just increase our cat intake because there's animals that need help, whether they're cats or dogs. So our numbers, of course, went up, and most of it was because of more cats.
And I saw that there was some puppies that were brought in not long ago that I understand are already gone.
Yep, they're gone. I mean, they're gone. We take apps on puppies, smaller dogs. We limit it 3 to 4 days, that's it, because you'll get 50 50 to 75 apps on these animals. And we only have, like this last batch, we had 4. Only 4 dogs. You have to do a cutoff point, and then we do best fit for the animal. So if the animal doesn't like cats and you have a cat, doesn't mean you're not a good adopter. It just means it's best fit for the animal. You know, maybe you won't get that dog, but you know, that's just what we do with every animal. So if we have cats that don't like dogs, and you apply for it, most likely you won't get it, because we'll do a house that maybe doesn't have dogs for the animal. Because if we don't do that, then they come back to us, and we try to prevent that at all costs.
Do you do any home visits to see if...
Sometimes we do home visits. It's on our application if we can do home visits, and sometimes we do it. We do more home visits for shelters outside of the area that call us to go do a home visit for them, because they're not familiar with the area, so they're a little bit more leery adopting outside of their area, and we'll go do the home visits for them.
Wow. Now, if I wanted to volunteer or donate some items, how would I go about doing that?
Just come and see us. We have a volunteer app that's short and sweet. If you want to donate items, we have a wish list. It's pretty basic stuff: laundry soap, dish soap, dryer sheets, bleach. Those are the things that we use a lot of, and wet cat food. Those are our mainstays that we always need. But we also take any sort of, you know, old towels, blankets, those sorts of things. We go through a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, the blankets are very helpful.
They are very, very helpful.
This Scootaloo isn't quite as Velcro-y as normal, so it's very nice, even though you're just kind of hanging out staring at me right now. I'm loving this.
I think mine passed out.
Yeah, yours is sleeping. Mine just got those big, beautiful blue eyes staring back at me. Oh,
but I would like to say, in the cats that we took in last Saturday, there are a lot of calicos. So if you're looking for a calico, we have them, and they're beautiful cats. We had 4 of them to the vet yesterday because we questioned whether they were with babies, and they are not, so they are ready to go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's just you know, it's amazing to look at your website and your social media page to, you know, to see the animals that are still in need of adoption. And if someone out there has the heart, has the space, and, you know, can provide for an animal like this, I hope they get a hold of you to do so.
And a lot of them do, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for bringing in the kitties.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Look at
I always look forward to this, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us as we continue to learn about the world of nonprofits in our local community. Please stay tuned after the break for the ACC segment.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Amanda Campbell, social sciences instructor at ACC, focusing on history, geography, and anthropology. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I just have to say I had a delightful time this week. You invited me into one of your classes. They were exploring some Civil War artifacts that you had assembled with a lot of enterprise and innovation and thought. And I watched and participated in reviewing those, and it was just a phenomenal learning experience. I wanted to share that with the viewers. So, you know, give me your thoughts on a lesson and anything you want to share, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So thanks for having me, and thanks for coming to the class. It was great to have you. So I came into possession of about 50 artifacts, or 50 letters, images, pins and ribbons, doodles and postcards, probably about 20 years ago. And these were items that were a collection, essentially, a young girl by the name of Mary. And these were, as I kind of dove into them, they were letters from the Civil War, letters from someone that obviously had a love interest in her, and things that she had collected and maintained for the duration of her lifetime. I held on to them because I was fascinated with them. You know, when I acquired them, it was actually a professor at my alma mater that said, you know, I have these things in my basement, and I don't really need them right now. And you know, every historian's dream, a cigar box filled with letters from the Civil War. So in the last couple years being at ACC, I saw them as an opportunity, as valuable as they are. I saw them as an opportunity, as a sort of a working collection, that we might be able to use them to teach students about primary sources, about history, and the letters themselves are so much more than just a letter, right? And you got to experience them when you hold these letters in your hand, you're holding history.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting, and this is only the second time that I've done it in a class, and the students really seem to enjoy it. They really seem to react well to it.
They surely did. There's so many positive things that I saw in that lesson. Your care in teaching them about how to handle artifacts and respect them, and I thought was very well done, and they listened and understood that. I mean, the letters are cursive and, you know, 160 years old.
Yes, yes.
So that part was really neat. But I thought the history of it, which is Civil War, you know, everyone gets taught about the Civil War. Mm-hmm. I don't think many people can really make a connection between now and then. Yeah. But these letters make that connection. It brings history to life.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, essentially we have students that when you read history in a book, it might fall flat, or you might read about a primary source and you might not connect them. But for them to hold history in their hands, for them to have to carefully take a letter out of an envelope and to be cautious about the oils on their hands or their workspace, and then to decipher cursive. And that's a struggle for many of us.
Or to write cursive
Or to
anymore.
write cursive. It's phenomenal. And, you know, I brought a letter with me. I can share just a brief piece. So this was Camp Ward near near Louisville, Kentucky, Sunday, 4:30 p.m., September 14th, 1862. My darling Molly, we arrived at the above named place last night at 8 o'clock. We have marched from Jeffersonville here, a distance of some 6 miles, and you may be rest assured that we were tired when we arrived. And he continues to go on in
a 6-mile hike.
A 6-mile hike. Yeah, and he talks about how this is the first time they're able to use their knapsacks, that they're ready to receive the rebels with their arms, and he's in excited state.
Yeah, and the way you laid it out also, there's like an intricate, with each letter and each student getting a separate letter, it gave you an opportunity to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together, both in terms of a timeline and then geographically. And I also thought it was great because each student then had the opportunity to speak. Yeah. Because you know, in an instructional environment, you quickly learn that some people are very comfortable speaking, and others will. You have to prod them to do it. Yeah. And I thought it was just wonderful that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun because they also get to hear from someone near their age. Mm-hmm. You know, someone that you know, the creators and the receivers of these letters, they're in their late teens, early 20s, and they're writing about the weather. They're saying, hey, can we get together and make sure, you know, you tell your parents. You know, he's kind of like priming the parents, you know, make sure you tell your parents I said hi. Yeah. And, so it's interesting because if you can translate from then to now, I think a lot of the intent would be the same, and so when you frame it in a way that students can understand, it makes a difference.
They're love notes, really.
Yes, they really are. And you hear his desperation. He really wants to hear from her. You hear his desperation that he wants for her to write him. You hear him struggling with elements of the war, struggling with sickness, struggling with being able to see friends and family, and then victories, you know, when they win a battle. So really interesting.
I mean, in our world, I mean, if people take out a phone, they text, it's instantaneous, constant, every day, and it's going to be that way.
Yeah.
I think for the students to look back and say, these are handwritten letters that have to track somebody who's in a war,
Yeah.
I think that part really resonated with them.
Yes. Yes, and in the next class when we met and you missed it, we actually discovered a letter where he mentions that his sorrow and his guilt because he had to shoot someone in a battle.
Wow.
And so then the trauma, you know, we see that. So I think these letters are applicable not just in a history class, but, you know, in psychology, in political science, in geography, you know, when he's talking about mustering a camp in the cold and in the snow, and really kind of an interesting way of looking at all these different subjects just through this collection of letters.
Wonderful. Well, such a deep learning experience. I congratulate you for doing it and sharing it and bringing your expertise to it. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, folks, for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your hosts Bradley Summers and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Queen Bee's Knees LLC production, a Morgan Murphy media company. All rights reserved.